Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschool. This is Nalini. I teach chemistry for class 8, 9, 10 and 11, 12. Mainly I started with ICSE syllabus for class 8, 9 and 10. And I teach chemistry keeping competitive exams in our mind. Okay. And today I am starting with the most fundamental chapter called the language of chemistry, which comes under class 9 syllabus. And remember, don't forget to subscribe our channel to learn the chemistry in the easiest way. And I keep connecting every concept to a real life instances or situations. So you will definitely enjoy learning chemistry and to understand every concept in a detailed way, you have to subscribe our channel. Coming to the chapter, the language of chemistry, one of the most essential chapter or the one of the most important concepts we are learning under a chapter, which are very important to understand the complex aspects of chemistry chapters that you will be learning in the future. Okay, so it's very important to understand them. And the chapter itself says the language of chemistry. The terms, the symbols, the illustrations, and the pictures that we use it in chemistry is very much different. And as a student of chemistry, it is our duty to understand the meanings of those terms, symbols, and whatever we use it in chemistry. Okay, so here I have an overview of the chapter. That means what and all you are going to learn in a chapter is there on a board. Okay, so the first and foremost, we learn something about the elements. Okay, the very basic idea about the elements and the symbols. How did the symbols come from and how do we write the symbols? What way we have to write the symbols? And what is the significance of the symbols? What information does a symbol can give for a reader? All that we are going to learn. This is our first concept of the chapter. And the next concept is about compounds. I am going to tell you the meaning of a compound, how compounds are formed, and how to write the formulae for the compounds. Okay, why we have to write a formulae? So what does a formulae is giving us? What is that formulae telling us about a compound? All that we are learning under this particular heading. And the third most important thing that is very much essential to understand every aspect of chemistry is the valency. Okay, so there are various meanings for valency, all that we are going to learn. And with the help of valency, we can write the chemical formulae for the compounds. And that method also I am going to teach you under this particular heading. Okay, to write the chemical formulae, definitely you must know a concept called valency. So both the concepts are interlinked here. If you know this, you can work it on this. Otherwise, you cannot work it on this. And next concept is writing names of chemical formulae. Once you write the chemical formulae, how we can call the formulae with? What are the different types of compounds and how they are named differently? All that we are going to learn under this particular heading. And the next important topic is balancing equation. And I am going to teach you a super duper trick to balance a chemical equation where you will enjoy balancing chemical equations. 100%. Here. And next concept is relative atomic mass and relative molecular mass. We are going to learn what do you mean by atomic mass and what do you mean by molecular mass and how we can calculate them and why do we call them with the word relative. You have a long story behind this. Very interesting story. And all those you are learning under this particular heading. Lastly, we have something called percentage composition, where it is completely numerical based and you will be solving lots of numericals on this particular concept, and this is very important for board examination point of view, also for competitive exams also. Okay, see, all the concepts are very basic concepts that you will observe under this particular chapter, and each and every concept is very, very, very important to understand in detail. Okay, so let us start with the first concept, symbols and elements. First and foremost, let us speak about the meaning of the term element. Okay, and before we go for the concept of element, let us understand what we learn under a branch of science called chemistry. See, chemistry is all about study of elements and their properties. Study of elements and their properties. You know, whatever you see and whatever you touch, living or non-living organisms, everything contain elements. Say for example, the food we eat. What do you mean by a food? Food is nothing but glucose, isn't it? Food is nothing but glucose. So what is a glucose? Say now I'll give the formula for a glucose, that is C6H12O6. So this is what chemically glucose is. Okay, so in this glucose you have an element called carbon, you have an element called hydrogen, you have an element called oxygen. See, glucose is nothing but a combination of three elements. What are they? Carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. And we ourselves is nothing but a chemical. You know, our skin, our hair, each and everything is made up of one or the other element, mainly carbon. Okay, so we are the main substitute of carbon actually. Here everybody. So everywhere, whatever you see is all about elements only. So how do you define this element? Element is a pure substance. It is nothing but a pure substance which is made up of small particles called atoms. Okay, and element cannot be divided further. We say element cannot be divided further, and this is a pure substance which is made up of small particles called atoms. Okay, in nature we have around 118 elements. 118 elements. And these 118 elements have been very beautifully arranged in a particular pattern. Okay, to study them in a convenient way and in a comfortable way. Scientists have arranged them in a beautiful pattern, and that is what we call periodic table. You can observe the picture that is displayed. Okay, and this is what we call periodic table, where we will find all 118 elements have beautifully arranged on one particular concept. And about the concept and about the elements we will discuss later in the chapter called periodic table. Okay, just try to observe the periodic table here. And you know, those elements have a particular name. Okay, the first element is hydrogen there. The first element is hydrogen. Okay, say, but scientists have not used the word hydrogen. That hydrogen, in shortcut, they represented with the letter H, isn't it? You can observe the H, that is the first element. Actually, what is the element's name? Hydrogen. But you know, if you keep on writing their names, it becomes a very long table, and to make the things more conveniently, instead of writing their names in an elaborate way, we use a shortcut just to represent an element. And those shortcuts, we will call it as symbols. Okay, understood everybody? Symbol. How do you define a symbol now? Symbols represent elements. Symbols represent elements. Okay, in shortcut, in short form, I can say symbol is nothing but it is a way of representing element in short form. Way of representing element in short form is called symbols. Okay, and you must be wondering why hydrogen called with the letter H and why oxygen called with the letter O. Okay, silicon called with the letters Si. Cobalt was called with the letter CO. And the story behind these symbols I am going to explain you now. Okay, first and foremost, there was a person called John Dalton. He used figurative symbols to represent the elements. He used figurative symbols. Figurative symbols to represent the elements. Say for example, he called this symbol for oxygen. Okay, so according to him, if you just put one circle, you know it means the element oxygen. And to represent hydrogen, he used this particular symbol. Okay, this symbol was called as hydrogen. Long back. This was long back. Okay, and you know, this was the thing. He kept it for the element nitrogen. Nitrogen. And this was the symbol. He kept it for sulfur. He kept it for sulfur. You know, so representing element in the form of pictures. This was called as oxygen. This symbol is for hydrogen. This symbol is for nitrogen, and this symbol is for sulfur. And you see, it's quite complicated thing to remember. And how many symbols do you remember for 118 elements? You know, it's not that much easy to remember if you use symbols like this. Yes or no? So that is the reason another scientist came. He is nothing but Berzelius. Berzelius. Okay, very famous scientist, Berzelius. And what he said is, the first point he said was, use the first letter of the name of the element. Okay, to give a symbol for an element, just take the first letter from the name. Okay, so I'll write here first letter. First letter can be taken from the name. From the name. For example, carbon is there. Okay, so what is the first letter here? So symbol can be C. Similarly, sulfur is there. Sulfur is there. So what is the first letter in a name? Yes. So you can consider the symbol yes, he said. Okay, you can take the first letter from the name. For example, for carbon we use C, sulfur we use S. But the problem is, you know, what about the elements like cobalt and silicon? Observe the elements cobalt and silicon. Okay, so in these elements also you have the first letter C only. Here also you have a first letter S, right? See, already C you have used for carbon. Yes, you have used for sulfur. You can't use it for cobalt also. If you use it, it leads a confusion, isn't it? So what you would do in this case? So he said, in that case, take 2 letters from the name, he said. Okay, so if this is the case, say if another element is there with the name, the same letter that you have already given for some other element, then you consider the 2 letters as a symbol, he said. Okay, so here you can use the symbol CO for cobalt and you can use the symbol Si for silicon. Okay, you can't just use C because you have already given it for carbon. You can't just use S because you have already given it for sulfur. So in that case, two starting letters you have to take from the name. So cobalt symbol is CO, silicon symbol is Si. Okay, and now the problem is, like, you have an element like copper, and what do you do here? See, you can't take C because that C you have already given for carbon. You can't take first two letters CO because CO has already been given for cobalt. Then what you would do in this case? See, the Latin word for copper is cuprum. It is cuprum. Okay. In that case, what he said is, take the first two letters of Latin name, he said. Okay. So every element has its own Latin name actually. So in the Latin name, first two letters you take, he said. So the symbol for copper is Cu. Okay. So similarly, there is an element sodium. Okay. So sodium in the Latin word, we will call it as natrium. So the symbol for sodium is actually Na. Symbol for sodium is Na. Okay. It is not SO or S. Okay. S you cannot take because S is already there for the element sulfur. Okay. Then in that case, what you have to do? Just consider the Latin name and the first two letters of the Latin name, you should take it as a symbol. And this is how every element has got a symbol, and with the help of symbols only, they have been arranged very beautifully in the form of periodic table. Okay. And now let us learn what is the importance of these symbols. See, the moment we write a symbol S, it is understood that this S is a symbol for the element sulfur, isn't it? Element sulfur. Okay, so it gives an information about which element it is. The moment you write S, it is nothing but a sulfur. The moment you write Al, it is nothing but aluminium. So it talks about a particular element. Okay, and the moment you write yes, it means about a single atom. About a single atom. Okay, I already told you element is made up of so many atoms. The moment you write one S, just S, it means you are talking about a single atom. Okay, a single atom. And you know, the moment you write a single S, it also means that you are talking about the mass of a single atom. Mass of a single atom. Actually, we will call it as atomic mass also. We will call it as atomic mass also, and scientists have already calculated mass of single atoms of all elements, and they have mentioned it in periodic table. Okay, atomic mass of sulfur is 32. Anyway, as of now, you no need to remember the atomic masses of all elements. I'm just telling about the importance of symbol here. So the moment you write a single S, for chemist, this single S means it is about a single atom. And for chemist, the moment you write this S, it means that the atomic mass of sulfur you are talking about, that is about 32. Okay, so this is the information that you will get to know whenever you write a symbol for a particular element. Okay, for a common person, when you write S, it is just a matter of alphabet, one of the alphabet, that's it. But for chemist, the S means the S is about a particular element. Which element? Sulfur. But when you write S2 or S6 or S8, you know, S is nothing but sulfur only. But this sulfur is there in combination with some other atom. I mean, some other atom means another sulfur atom. S2 means 2 sulfur atoms joined together. S6 means 6 sulfur atoms joined together. S8 in the sense 8 sulfur atoms joined together. Okay, but here you have a differentiation between single S and these S's. Yes or no? So symbol will clearly tell you whether something is an atom or it is there in a molecular form. Clear, everybody? And the moment you write a single S, you know, it means you're talking about mass of one single atom. Okay, whenever you write single S, then atomic mass is 32. But whenever you write S2, you know, this will not have a mass that is equal to 32. It will have something else. Got to know? So this is the clear information that can be given by symbols. And this is all about symbols, element, and its importance. Now we will talk about compound and, you know, chemical formulae of a compound. So what do you mean by a compound? Compound is nothing but, it is a pure substance which is made up of two or more atoms of different elements in a fixed ratio or proportion, you can say, in a fixed proportion. This is what we call compound. Okay, this is the chemical definition of a compound. Say for example, H2O is there. H2O is called as a compound because you see this particular compound has two elements, isn't it? Hydrogen atoms are there, two hydrogen atoms are there, and one oxygen atom is there. Both of them have combined and you got a different chemical. That is what we call compound. Now you can read the definition. Pure substance which is made up of two or more atoms of different elements. Made up of two or more atoms of different elements in a fixed proportion. Okay, say what is the proportion of hydrogen and oxygen here? They have combined in the ratio 2:1, isn't it? They always combine in a particular ratio by mass or by volume. Clear, everybody? Say for example, glucose is there, C6H12O6. Say three elements have been combined in a particular ratio. Can you all tell me the ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in this molecule? I can say 1:2:1. They have combined in this particular ratio. They formed as one particular chemical called glucose. Okay, and the properties of a compound is entirely different from the properties of individual element. This is very important point to be understood. Okay, properties of the compound is entirely different from the properties of element which have been combined to form that particular compound. That means you all know the properties of water. Water is a liquid. Yes or no? Just imagine water is a liquid. It is available as liquid. But how does hydrogen available in our nature? Gas. How is oxygen available in our nature? Gas. This is a gas. This is a gas. But when both combined, it is no more hydrogen, it is no more oxygen now. It is something else. What is that something else? Water, which is completely different from the individual elements. This is what the important point that you must remember. So, this is about the compound. And now, okay, see, this is what we call water, we know. You know, instead of calling water, you should have a shortcut to represent water, no? What is that shortcut? This is the shortcut. Okay, see this particular thing, this is what we call chemical formula. Chemical formula. So what do you mean by a chemical formula? It is a way of representing compound, with the help of symbols. Okay, so using the symbols of the elements which have been combined, you are representing a compound. That is what we call chemical formula. This is a compound. This is a compound. Water is a compound which has been formed from the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so how do you tell that in shortcut? By writing this. So the chemical formula will give you an idea about what elements have been combined to form this particular compound and in what ratio they have combined. You know, this is the information given by chemical formula. So chemical formula has got a significant role in understanding the concepts of chemistry. Okay, all compounds we cannot write them with the names. You know, it takes a longer time and it's a complicated thing also. So you must know their shortcuts. So what is the shortcut? What is a better way of understanding about a compound? By writing their chemical formula. Clear everybody? So in the next video, we are going to learn how to write such formulae, such chemical formulae for various types of concepts. And for that, you need to understand a concept called valency. So we are talking about valency in my next video. If you like our video, please like it, share it, and subscribe for more updates to learn it in a easier way. Thank you.